We're starting with chapter 21. Finally, uh, let's get into it. Chapter 21. Oh, Kiara, what's wrong? Ruby said soothingly. She was worried. She couldn't remember the last time she had seen Kiara cry. In fact, she didn't even know Kiara knew how to cry. Whatever had reduced her to tears must be something serious. Nothing's wrong, Chiara said, snapping the photo album shut and sliding it under her bed. She seemed embarrassed to be caught crying, and she wiped her face roughly, trying to look as if she didn't care. Downstairs on the couch, Declan peeped his head out from under the cushion. It was eerily quiet up there. He hoped they hadn't done anything stupid to one another. He tiptoed upstairs and listened outside the door. Something is wrong, Polly said, crossing the room to join her sister on the floor. She wasn't sure how to deal with Kiara like this. This was a complete role reversal. Ever since they were kids, it had always been Holly who had done all the crying. Kiara was supposed to be the strong one. I'm fine, Kiara snapped. Okay, Holly said, looking around. But if there's something on your mind that's upsetting you, you know you can talk to me about it, don't you? Kiara refused to look at her and just nodded her head. Cody began to stand up to leave her sister in peace when all of a sudden Kiara burst into tears again. Cody quickly sat down and wrapped her arms protectively around her younger sister. Cody stroked Kiara's silky pink hair while she cried quietly. Do you want to tell me what's wrong? She asked softly. Kiara gurgled some sort of reply and sat up to slide the photo album back out from under the bed. She opened it with trembling hands and flicked a few pages. Hmm, him, she said sadly, pointing to a photograph on her of her and some guy. Polly didn't recognize. In fact, Polly barely recognized her sister. She looked so different and so much younger. The photograph was taken on a beautiful sunny day on a boat overlooking the Sydney Opera House. Kiara was sitting happily on his knee, with her arms wrapped around his neck, and he was staring at her with a huge smile on his face. Polly couldn't get over how pretty Kiara looked. She had blonde hair, which Jodie had never seen on her sister before, and a great big smile on her face. Her features looked much softer. She didn't look as if she was going to bite someone's head off for a change. Is that your boyfriend? Polly asked gently. Was Kiara sniffed, and a tear landed on that page. Is that why you came home? She asked softly, wiping the tear from her sister's face. Kiara nodded. Do you want to tell me what happened? Kiara gasped for breath. We had a fight. Did did he? Polly chose her words carefully. He didn't hurt you or anything, did he? Kiara shook her head. No, she stuttered. It was just over something really stupid. And I said I was leaving, and he said he was glad. She trailed off and started sobbing again. Polly held her in her arms and waited till Kiara was ready to talk again. He didn't even come to the airport to say goodbye to me. Polly rubbed Kiara's back soothingly, as though she was a baby who had just drunk the bottle. She hoped Kiara wouldn't throw up on her. Has he called you since? No, and I have been home for 2 months, Polly, she wailed. She looked up at her sister with such sad eyes. Polly felt like crying too. She didn't like the sound of the sky at all. It hurting her sister. Polly smiled at her encouragingly. Then, do you think that maybe he's not the right kind of person for you? Kiara started crying again. But I love Matthew, Polly. And it was just a stupid fight. I only booked the flight because I was angry. I didn't think he would let me go. She stared for a long time at the photograph. Kiara's bedroom windows were wide open, and Holly listened to the familiar sound of the waves and the laughter coming from the beach. Holly and Kiara had shared this room together as they grew up, and a weird sense of comfort now embraced her as she smelled the same smells and listened to the familiar noises. Kiara began to calm down. Sorry, Holly. Hey, you don't need to be sorry at all, she said, squeezing her hand. You should have told me all this when you came home instead of keeping it all inside. But this is only minor compared to what's happened to you. I feel stupid for crying about it. She wiped her tears, angry with herself. Polly was shocked. Kiara, this is a big deal. Losing someone you love is always hard, no matter if they're alive or. She couldn't finish the sentence. First, you can tell me anything. It's just that you've been so brave. I don't know how you do it. And here I am, crying over a stupid one. I went to it for only a few months. Me? Brave? Polly laughed. I wish. Yes, you are, Clara insisted. Everyone says so. You've been so strong through everything. If I were you, I'd be lying in a ditch somewhere. Don't go giving me ideas, Carol. Cody smiled at her, wondering who on earth had called her brave. Oh, you're okay, though, aren't you? Kiara said, worryingly studying her face. Cody looked down at her hands and slid her wedding ring up and down her finger. She thought about that question for a while, and the two girls became lost in their own thoughts. Kiara, suddenly calmer than Holly had ever seen her, sat by her side, patiently waiting Holly's reply. Am I okay? Holly repeated the question to herself. She looked ahead at her collection of teddy bears and dolls that their parents had refused to throw out. I'm a, I'm a lot of things, Kiara, Holly explained, continuing to roll her ring around on her fingers. I'm lonely. I'm tired. I'm sad. I'm happy. I'm lucky. I'm unlucky. I'm a million different things every day of the week. But I suppose okay is one of them. She looked to her sister and smiled sadly. And you're brave, Kiara assured her, and calm and in control and organized. Polly shook her head slowly. No, Kiara, I'm not brave. You are the brave one. You were always the brave one. As for being in control, I don't know what I'm doing from one day to the next. Kiara's forehead creased, and she shook her head wildly. No, I'm far from being brave, Polly. Yes, you are, Polly insisted. All those things that you do, like jumping out of airplanes and snowboarding off cliffs. Polly trailed off as she tried to think of more crazy things for her little sister. Kiara shook her head in protest. Oh no, my dear sister, that's not brave. That's foolish. Anybody can bungee jump off a bridge. You can do it. Kiara nudged her. Polly's eyes widened, terrified at the thought, and she shook her head. Kiara's voice softened. Oh, you would if you had to, Holly. Trust me, there's nothing brave about it. Holly looked at her sister and matched her tone. Yes, and if your husband died, you would cope if you had to. There's nothing brave about it. There's no choice involved. It's so sad. Kiara and Holly stared at each other, aware of the other's battle. Kiara was the first to speak. Well, I guess you and I are more alike than we thought. She smiled at her big sister, and Holly wrapped her arms around her small frame and hugged her tight. Who would have thought? Holly thought her little sister looked like such a child. With her big innocent blue eyes, she felt as though they were both children again, sitting on the floor where they used to play together during their childhood, and where they would gossip when they were teenagers. They sat in silence, listening to the sounds outside. Was there something you were going to scream at me about earlier? Kiara asked quietly in a childish voice. Was there something you were gonna scream at me about earlier? Holly had to laugh at her sister for trying to take advantage. No, forget about it. It's nothing, Polly replied, staring out at the blue sky. From outside the door, Declan wiped his brow and breathed a sigh of relief. He was in the clear. Them and their sibling rivalry, I just love it. He tiptoed silently back into his room and hopped back into bed. Whoever this Matthew was, he owed him big time. His phone beeped, signaling a message, and he frowned as he read the text. Who the hell was Savannah? Then a grin crept across his face as he remembered last night. Okay, this is end of chapter 21. A very light little chapter. Loved it. We'll meet back again for chapter 22. And I just remember now that I forgot to give a recap for this chapter. I will try to keep it in the next chapters because I think it just makes things easier, to remember. Because if I post a video like after a long time and you don't have that video available, it is better to just jog your memory. I hope this reading will go somewhere and there'll be some fruits to it, but right now I'm just like reading to empty people, like no one. But yeah, okay. Hope you enjoy. Bye bye.